What's up, guys and gals? Matt Wilson here. Today we're going to do a review for the triple V2 RDA. I purchased this RDA for the purpose of this review, as well as to help get it out on the market before the August 8th deadline. I purchased this straight from Miss Nadia Clausen, who is the modder, designer, and maker of this RDA, as well as the original triple RDA. She owns NYC Vape hardware. The NYC, a lot of people think that it stands for New York City. It does not. NYC is actually Miss Nadia's initials. Just to clear that up for some people. But in this review, I'm going to show some differences between the V1 and the V2, as well as some similarities. Definitely going to go down up close, let you see the deck, tell you a little bit about it, as well as put a build in it, wick it, and vape it. So yeah, let's get that going. Like I said, I purchased this RDA for the purpose of a review. I've had my original triple RDA for quite a few months now. I was lucky enough to get mine before it came out, and I've absolutely loved it since the day I got it. I have had the triple V2 RDA for about a week now, week and a half, give or take. So far, I absolutely love it. It has actually taken over my original triple RDA as my comp RDA. For a lot of people that know me, the original triple is what I ran for a lot of my comps for quite a number of months since I've received it, and I absolutely love it. Like I said, the V2 has absolutely taken over that spot since I got it. But I'm going to go ahead, move the camera, dive down up close, show you all the RDA, show you the deck, tell you a little bit about it, and we'll kind of go from there. Alright, so the triple V2 RDA. I'm very happy with the engraving. It's a little smaller and a little different from the V1 due to she had to fit that extra V2 in there, whereas the V1 just says triple. Here's the V1. Okay, so you can see some differences with the engravings on the V1. The logo up here is definitely a little thicker, a little deeper engraved, as well as the lettering is a little thicker and a little deeper engraved, whereas with the V2 it is a little smaller, just because she had to make room for the V2 on there. So that's understandable. Another thing that is different between both is the V2 is actually a little taller than the V1. Just a little bit, about the height of the AFC top, so not too much. I'm actually a big fan of that with the V2, just because with the V1, with certain builds, I would get a decent amount of spit back. With the V2, I haven't had those problems whatsoever. I was lucky enough with my V1 to get number 2, designed in the USA, NYC 2016, and the NYC Vape hardware logo right there. On the V2, that writing is a little bit larger, still says basically the same things. I was lucky enough to get number 5 on the V2. Still got the NYC Vape hardware logo, definitely deeper engraved, a lot cleaner, and easier to read. Same thing on the lettering, a little bit deeper engraved, cleaner and easier to read. But both are done extremely well. Both are absolutely hybrid safe. The V2 is Actually, I run it on a hybrid mod 95% of the time, so it's absolutely hybrid safe. Now on the V2 versus the V1, you do have a staggered side airflow. So with the V1, a lot of people had the problem or the issue of they felt like they couldn't run the V1 with the bottom airflow turned all the way off to where it was just side airflow or side and top airflow. You could, but the airflow didn't exactly line up with your coil. Still worked phenomenally that way, but for a lot of people with OCD, they didn't like that, understandably. With the V2, she has staggered the airflow so that you can take it, and let me throw it on the mod real quick so I can get this deck open. Or actually, I can probably do it like that. But with the V2, you can turn your airflow all the way off and run just the side or side and top airflow. It still doesn't quite line straight up with your coils, but it's a little bit closer than the V1 was. The AFC ring on the V2 is slightly different from the V1 as well. The V2, it has this notch for your side airflow, whereas the V1, that was actually a Cyclops slot. Still single O-ring on top, holds really nice, not quite as stiff as their original triple. Still has the adjustable top airflow with the chuff cap, so you would just basically turn it to adjust that airflow. Still can run it as a single coil with all three airflows open, or you can run it just the bottom, just the side, just the top. So you do have that option on the sleeve. So dual airflow, single airflow, very well made. Haven't had any issues with scratching, which I'm very gentle with my stuff a lot of times, but I haven't had any scratches really that I've noticed. So very happy with that. Sorry, it's a little difficult to do on camera. As far as adjusting your side airflow, just twist. If you want to open up your single coil, there's your single coil, and that blocks off both of those sides. Whatever you adjust on this side will adjust on this side, the same exact thing. The inner diameter of the chuff cap is a 11mm bore. So nice and nice large chuff cap, but not overly huge. You also do get the 510 adapter as well as a Delrin 510 drip tip with it, just like the V1. Now I'm not positive if all of them will come if the production run of the V2s will come like this, because mine is an Alpha Proto, but this one comes with grub screws that are Phillips head grub screws. The Phillips head is cut fairly deep into the screws, so they do work pretty well as long as you're using the right size Phillips head. I am going to swap mine out for some extra Allen keys, Allen head grubs that I have from my original. Now with mine, I also received both a stainless steel positive pin as well as a gold-plated brass positive pin. I am not positive if the production model will come with both. Mine came with the stainless steel installed. I pretty much automatically put the gold-plated version in for conductivity. As far as the juice well, you still have a 5mm deep juice well, just like the V1, 3mm post holes. I run 20 gauge in mine on a daily basis, and it has no problems fitting. I've put 24 gauge fused Claptons in these posts with no issues. So definitely can fit your little bit crazier builds in there, but it also works extremely well with your standard builds. Bottom airflow is a nice wide Cyclops slot. Get a nice airflow up under your coils, as well as from the side of your coils. Typically with my V1, I ran my side airflow turned about 1/3 of the way off. With my V2, I actually run it pretty much all open on the bottom and all open on the side. I don't run my top airflow, but I typically run the side and the bottom all the way open on the V2. I do enjoy it turned down 1/3 of the way, just like on my V1, but it works just as good all the way open as well. So far, I am very happy with this thing. The O-rings hold fairly well. They're not quite as stiff as my V1 O-rings, which for me, I prefer stiff O-rings. Haven't had any issues with the O-rings tearing or fraying or anything like that. The 510 pin is adjustable, by the way. Peak insulators. Haven't had any problems with the insulators or the 510 pin. The post screws, like I said, they work. Me personally, I'm going to swap mine out for some grubs. But again, I'm not positive that this one will come, the production of this RDA will come with those Phillips head grubs. I'm almost want to say she said it will come with Allen head grubs. I did learn today with my, where did it go? Well, with my V2, that I can run my Nolly Designs Mad Hattie chuck cap with the right O-ring. With the right O-ring, you do kind of have to work it down in there, but usually once it's in there, you don't have to worry about it. Do this off camera. There we go. So just like that. Granted, running something like this, obviously both of your sides are going to be open, as well as your single coil side airflow will be open. So basically, put it on the deck. Both of those are all the way open, both of those are all the way open, and then this side airflow is also open. So it gives you, it's kind of like running your top airflow with the single coil mode and running your side airflows wide open at the same time. So if you did feel like you needed a little bit more airflow, but you don't like using the top airflow, you can achieve it that way. As long as your cotton is not blocking this hole, which I haven't had any issues with that. But I typically run mine with the standard AFC ring. I typically leave my top airflow off and side and bottom all the way open. But let's go ahead and throw this thing on my trusty 24.5mm VCM and get some coils in it, get it wicked, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and swap these post screws out for my Allen head post screws. Like I said, I just personally prefer my Allen head post screws. Plus, ooh, well, never mind. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. I apologize, that is my fault. I should have tried that before going on camera. I just remembered that these post screws are a little larger than the V2 post screw. I mean the original triple post screws. As far as your post holes, same size. Actual post screws are a little bit larger. So hey, it is what it is. We're gonna run the little Phillips head ones. I'll just have to order some more of the larger post screws. No worries, that's fine. And I do already have a build ready for this thing. It's actually the same build that I had in it before I started the review. It's pretty much just 7 wraps of 20 gauge riot wire on a 3.5 mil bit. It's basically my standard go-to tube mod build for that wire, and this post screw wants to be a pain in my butt. Let me do this one off. Alright, there we go. So, grab my coils. Since these were already in here, it's gonna be pretty easy to install them back in here, as long as I'm actually putting them on the correct side to where my coil is not touching my airflow. So yeah, let me get these post screws tightened up real quick, and we'll throw some cotton in this thing and vape on it. Alright, so the coils are heating evenly, nice and tight. Let them cool down. To wick them, I'm going to be using some cotton bacon V2. Good thing about this stuff, I can pull one strip off and wick both sides. So, pretty much we're just gonna feed it through. Clip it off. And I'll finish clipping that in a second. Alright. I typically, with my bottom airflow RDAs like this, I typically like to put an angle cut on my cotton just because it makes it where I can run larger coils without having all that excess cotton in my deck. So yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna kind of trim these up, make them look a little bit better. About like that. And then pretty much all I'm gonna do is tuck it. Or actually, really and truly, you don't even have to tuck. Just kind of poke it down in the deck like that, and then I come back and pull it away from my airflow and off my airflow. Something give or take like that. Same thing with the other side. Poke it down in there, and then kind of pull it back away from your airflow. Something like that. Same thing on this side. So end up with something give or take like that. Not the prettiest wick job, but hey, it works. Alright, so let's see. Gonna grab my juice. Gonna be running some of this new, it's in a Vapor Beast Gorilla Unicorn bottle right now, but it's a new beta flavor. Got released last week before August 8th, and it is called Man of War by oh man, brain fart. Crap. I'll figure that one out in a minute. But it is a strawberry PB&J. And it is really good. I'm getting juice everywhere. Fires. Oh yeah, Bone Foggy liquid. That's the name of that line. I apologize, guys. It's been and gals. It's been a long couple of weeks getting ready for the August 8th deadline. We actually released 5 new juice lines that would have been spread out over the year, but hey, gotta get them out. We gotta get them out. So anyways, now that we're wicked and we're juiced, vapor, and let's see, we're gonna throw, okay, so that is how it looks with all side. Now, if you want to run it with no bottom airflow, take it, turn it just like that. So basically, you end up with your coil is right here in this corner, and then it does have a little cotton on that side. But it feeds, because of how your cotton is, when you wick it, it feeds the air straight to your coil. So it actually works out really well. It was a great idea on that one, Nadia. Wonderful job. It works out extremely well. But I'm gonna go on and swap the camera back around, and we're gonna vape on it, talk about it a few more minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. So yeah, that is the triple V2. Vapor production is great. The flavor on it is excellent. The flavor on the V1 is extremely good, but the V2, even though it is slightly taller of an RDA, it still has just as good of flavor as the V1, if not a little bit more, surprisingly. I'm absolutely loving it so far. Now, that is just bottom and the side airflow all the way open. I'm gonna turn my side airflow down a third to basically the same airflow as what I run my V1. Pretty much the same. Bottom all the way open, side turned off about a third of the way. Flavor intensifies. The warmth goes up for sure. I love it with the airflow set up like that, and I thoroughly enjoy it with the airflow all the way open on the side and the bottom. But I am going to show y'all that you can cut the bottom all the way off and run just side airflow. So I'm going to go ahead and open my side airflow back up and turn my bottom completely off. So there you go, no bottom airflow, just side airflow, no top airflow. Well, I said no top airflow, but it was slightly open. Here we go. Flavor intensifies exponentially when you cut the airflow down that much. Now, I do enjoy running it with my Noli Designs chuff cap on my tube, because I can take it, turn my bottom airflow off, leave just those 3 side airflow slots open. So this one is kind of blocked by cotton and post, but it still brings enough air in to add just that little bit. Does whistle a little bit that way, but the flavor's still great. Still get a nice warm vape. Now, if you run that same thing, Noli chuff, with the side and bottom open, so that you have 5 airflow slots open, you can drip straight through the drip tip on this. Just kind of be careful how many times you drip, because it will run over into that airflow if you drip too much. The warmth goes down slightly doing that. Flavor's still great. The vapor production, as you can see, is excellent. Absolutely works. But like I said, 90% of the time I run my V2 with the original AFC ring. That's just how I like to run mine. But yeah, that's the triple V2. Oh yeah, real quick before I get out of here, the MSRP on the triple V2 will be the same exact price as what the V1 was. It's a $50 MSRP. For an authentic RDA, that is absolutely not a bad price. And I dropped my chuff cap. For $50 for an authentic RDA that is designed here in the USA is absolutely not a bad price at all. I will gladly spend it again. Miss Nadia, congrats on another extremely well-made RDA. I'm in love with it. You never cease to amaze me with your new products, and I'm thoroughly happy with every one of them that I've ever received. And I'm looking forward to that tank. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Peace out. Much love and respect. We'll see you guys later.